desert made of sand. The water's always cleaner than the whiskey that I have here in my hand. And I can see a future that don't suit you, so I might as well just go. I'm clinging on to fragments of the past, but I refuse to let it go. I'm seeing days gone by as if they were today. No matter how they try, no matter what you say, friends are always smiling, they don't seem to be so dead behind the eyes. But I am always dreaming, I am always reaching up towards the skies. And I can see a future where I hurt you, so you might as well just go. And I'm clawing at the fragments of my mind, but I refuse to let it show. I'm seeing days gone by as if they were today. No matter how they try, no matter what you say. And I can see a future that don't suit you, so you might as well just go. I'm clinging on to fragments of the past, but I refuse to let it go. I'm seeing days gone by as if they were today. No matter how we try, no matter what we say, I'm seeing days gone by as if they were today. No matter how we try, no matter what you say.
Well, that was an excellent song, Paul. So what have you got lined up for us now?
And so I'd like now to introduce to you Jem, aka Thomas Trilby. How you
Yay,
doing, Jem?
Jem!
Oh, hello, all right.
Hola,
Hello.
hola, senor.
Hola, nice to see you, chaps. How are you?
Well,
Very well, thanks.
nice to see you, as in, like, normally we've seen you several times over the last 12 months, and we haven't seen you at all, so this
I
is very
know.
bizarre.
It feels
Although
very...
we have actually festivaled together last year a couple of times, and this year already.
Yes, indeed, but not in the real world, only like this on a screen. Yes, we have. Samaritans. Yes, excellent stuff, yes.
Yes, it's been very, very, very strange year of doing gigs with everybody we do gigs with, but not actually seeing anybody.
Yes. And, you know, when your life is either working at gigs, festivals, concerts, or, as I often like to be, being at them, it's been a bit of a weird old year, it must be said.
You got something. You're not everything to everyone, but darling, pay attention. I might mention the way you could live up to my expectations. Sorry, Tommy Show. I ain't anybody's sure thing. No dealing guarantees, my friend. But if you play this game the right way, I'll show you how this thing could end. How this thing could end.
One, two, three.
Well, I might mention the way you could live up to my expectations. Don't know what you mean to me. Never heard another, cause the ulcers are show. And they show, and they show, and they show, and they show. And I promise to another, and I promise to go. Tell me that you want me and you'll never be rid of me. And you'll love forever, and it's wrong, and we know, 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 and we know. One into the other, and another won't go. One into another, you don't know what you mean to me. Never heard another, cause the ulcers will show. And they show, and they show, and they show, and they show. I promise to another, and I promise to go. Tell me that you
doing you performed at the Cheltenham Beer Festival, which was completely online, and people could order beer and have it delivered and food delivered to their house. And you performed on that. But I know for a fact you've been performing. You've done more television work in the last 12 months than you've done in your entire life.
It's been a learning curve because it just wasn't really a thing. Do you know what I mean? It's not as if it's something I did and then did more of. I when the first lockdown happened, someone got hold of me who works in one of the computer companies, and he said, just get yourself online, get yourself some lights and a green screen and so on. And I went out and bought them within a couple of weeks of the first lockdown happening, just thinking...
See, people won't realise, Jem, they'll think those are real clothes and things behind you, and in reality, that's the green screen, and you've got that...
None of this exists. Sadly, all of this does exist. There's about 30 costumes here and hung around the rest of my office that you can't see, which just have not been worn.
I'm kind of used as a performer to turning up somewhere, and Paul and I have done this, where we've turned up somewhere not knowing we were even performing and having to go on stage and make something up for an hour, whereas you can't get away with that on screen.
So
the weirdest thing is... Sorry, Paul?
I was going to say, how are you finding doing the magic side of it then? By doing it on screen?
It's the weirdest thing because... You're doing something now in this little box here. So, I mean, I've got my little juggling balls here, for example. And, you can juggle in this space here. But I'm used to sort of having a little bit more space to do the juggling and possibly even be juggling knives and fire and such like, which...
Well, Jem, those green juggling balls?
Now, the other thing I learned very early on is I had to swap everything that's green out of my performing case because I just was doing tricks with cigar boxes and realizing you can see two of them and the one in the middle is just a hole.
Look at me holding boxes.
Through me. Yeah. But you know what, Paul? I don't normally do magic, and I've put more magic into my show because I can't do the unicycling. I can't do... I did a few magic tricks, and I've made more of them. So I do kind of the same ones, but they're a bigger part of my show.
Suppose the trouble with the unicycle, we just see wheel pedals and a foot. Just
exactly, just sort of going across. Like, it loses its impact, decidedly.
So much
Scripts on my scenes, I'm out and about. I'm in with a shout, I got a fair bit of chat, but better than that, I got food in my belly, a license for my telly, and nothing's gonna bring me down. I said now, best of all, I got my baby. Best of all, I got my baby. She's mighty fine, she says she's on mine, nothing's gonna bring me down. I said now, best of all, I got my baby. Best of all, I got my baby. She's mighty fine, now she says she's all mine, nothing's gonna bring me down.
I think it's raining. We need to be in the beer tent.
You're actually doing them to large audiences and corporate audiences, because I saw a post you put the other day. You were after thumbs. So,
yes. So no,
it's just, we live in a weird world.
Sometimes I put things on Facebook like, "Can anyone find me 100 thumb tips?" And that I think most people aren't putting those sorts of posts on. No, it's been quite nice. A couple of my core, I do a lot of kids stuff. I do adult stuff. I normally do a lot of schools. And the sort of team building and training is quite a big thing. And people want to do it online. You know, you've got 20 people in a team. They're all at home. They all come together for an hour. And my specialism has become balloon modelling. So you send out pumps and balloons to everyone, and then they all come on screen and they've all got the balloons and pumps, and they all have a go. So online, it's not been like busy, but there's just been enough to keep me ticking over and keep me, from going completely insane, really.
Well, we started off at that level, so I'm not entirely sure if...
Exactly.
Hi, my name's Thomas Trilby, and during lockdown I'm offering online balloon modelling workshops. If you've ever wanted to create something with a modelling balloon, now is your chance to learn. From a simple dog to a much more complicated sculpture. I'll show you all the basic twists you need so that you will be able to create things in the comfort of your own home. I am able to send you a pump and a bag of balloons so that you're all prepared in advance to take part in the workshop. You can have as many people as you want participating on Zoom or other social media platforms. Once you've created the dog, or indeed the poodle, you can move on to a single string ukulele that actually works, or more complicated sculptures like the balloon flower. If you would like more information, please get in touch. You can find me on my Facebook page if you search Thomas Trilby, also on Instagram, Twitter and YouTube, and of course you can find me at www.thomastrilby.co.uk. Please get in touch. Thank you.
Paul, I have to record a song, send it out to the guys who then record their part, their video, send it back to me. I then have to edit it all together, then remove the instruments that I recorded to put their instruments on. And it's just, so a 5-minute song can take an entire week. Yeah. Whereas we can turn up and do a 5-hour gig with no rehearsal. And so it's been a pain. What we started off with when we first went everything online for the Samaritans as well, when we were doing fundraising for them, were quizzes. And they were really, really popular at the start. But it's almost just like people have gone, yeah, we've seen that, now we want something else. Yeah. Now, speaking of quizzes, Jim, that was your first thing that you did. Paul and I have been... One excuse for us doing this is to try and test each other with quiz questions every week, every single show. And Paul has done atrociously so far. But... as a guest, you have to supply us with a couple of questions that we can't possibly guess.
Yes. Okay. I will throw out those 2 questions for you. One of which is circus related. In old numbers, in feet, what's the standard size of a circus ring?
Wow. Okay.
It became standardized because with the bigger circuses, there's a certain size of ring that works for a horse to run around. and it just became established that there was a standard size of circus ring. So in feet, how many feet?
Okay, we're not going to try and answer, as in case we get it right and you're going, yes.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean the first circuses, and I've forgotten his name, but he was a military guy that started it, and it was.
I want to say Rick Astley, but I think it was Philip Astley. Yes, maybe related.
But that's why they are that specific size, isn't it? It's because it was a sort of a showing off of what they could do, because there was no wars going on at the time.
Yes.
Okay. But it's going to be a big number. I mean, it's because it's
we're looking for.
Yeah, that's going to be. Yeah,
it's over 5.
Another thing. Sorry, Paul.
It's over 5 feet.
Did you say, Paul?
Yeah, it's over 5.
It's more than 5 feet. Do you know another thing that is just an interesting fact? Do you know why some theatres are called hippodromes?
Well, I'm assuming it goes back to Roman times, and hippo meaning horse.
Yes.
And something. Oh, sorry. Is this your question?
No. This is just an interesting point along.
Yeah, I mean, hippo is Latin for horse. Yeah. Hippopotamus being the water horse, and I'm assuming that the circus meaning circular in Latin, and so it's something to do with horse racing. I guess.
Just apparently a lot of them were circuses.
That right? Yeah. Okay.
It just became the horse. The horse in the circus was the hippo. So the drome, the circle. So you just had hippodrome. You were making a very convoluted, more complicated answer than was necessary there. To be honest, I don't know. That would never happen with you. But yes, it's just the fact that most hippodromes were circuses. Would you like my second question?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, festivals. We've been saying that unfortunately festivals didn't happen last year, and it is going to be a sketchy year for festivals, I feel. We do Glastonbury every year, performing wise. How many Glastonbury festivals have there been?
Oh, that's a hard one. Because it's kind of not every year, but it was for a while. Then it disappeared. Then it came back again. Then it sort of. And you can't even work. It's not like even Olympics where you can go, it's every 4 years or something.
No, absolutely. So there really is.
Again, it's more than 5.
It's more than 5, boys. Is that you're on to a winner with all of these.
Every week, I'm asking my answer every week. It's more than 5.
Yeah. More than 5.
Well, the first one, it's the late 60s, isn't it? And it's they didn't have a pyramid stage. They were using truck stages, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, and the pyramid stage didn't come in for a few years.
Was it the Kinks that turned down playing, if I remember rightly?
It was. I think it might have been the Kinks who didn't play, and then T-Rex were on their way to play in, I think, Swanage or somewhere, and they said, yes, we'll stop off en route. And Mark Bolan got cross because his Rolls Royce that was covered in suede got scratched by the bushes on the way in.
Whereas the band Suede have a Rolls Royce covered in Mark Bolan. I don't know.
There's an image.
Supernatural freak, don't know what you're doing. You got me feeling weak, and I want. tell me what you fantasy. Come closer, let's talk about it. What white lines in a limousine with green and everything in between. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming for you. Locked, loaded, shoot my shot tonight. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming for you. Pull my trigger, let me blow your mind. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming for you. Locked, loaded, shoot my shot tonight. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming for you. Pull my trigger, let me blow your mind.
All right, so Jem,
Hello,
can you
Airways
give us the
Festival.
questions again, please?
How you doing?
Yes, the questions were: how big is a traditional circus ring? What's the standard size? Obviously, there are different sizes, but what is seen as the standard size of a circus ring? And how many Glastonbury festivals have there been?
Well, I reckon a circus ring is a lot bigger than people think it is. I reckon we're looking like 50 foot or something like that.
I was going to say 45.
Oh, in which case, Paul is closest. 42 feet
Oh,
is apparently the optimum size for a circus ring.
we can't have this. Paul's not allowed to beat me at quizzes. This can't go. Right, so in that case, the other one's Glastonbury's, and we're looking
Yes.
at, since 1971, I reckon it's less than people think. Right,
Okay.
so I reckon we're looking somewhere about sort of ish, something like that. And people are going to think there's 40, and I think it's going to be something like 20, something like that.
Okay.
I'll
Paul.
go. How many did you say?
I reckon 28. Oh, this isn't fair, because you're just going to go one less or one above, and that
No,
makes you
no,
win, doesn't
I
it?
was actually going to say 32.
32. Paul's having a good week, isn't he? He's having a good week. And apparently, according to my knowledge, 36 Glastonbury's
Oh, okay.
in 50 would have been the 50th anniversary last year. So I think 1971 was the first, and then they were was it 71 or 73? Anyway, around then. But then it was intermittent. Until the 1980s, 1981, I believe, when it went to sort of being, there'd be a few years and then a fallow year and then a few years and a fallow year. But there's certainly not been one every year for 50 years.
So
Well,
what you're saying
cheers,
is I
Jem.
beat Ross.
Yeah, Jem, I'm not entirely sure we can ever have you on again.
That's all right. Paul paid me a lot of money to give him the clues. He paid me well. Don't worry.
Right, to everybody watching, I'd like to point out that Paul arranges the guests and chats to them beforehand.
Yeah.
So I think what's happened is that during that arranging, Paul was given the answers, obviously.
He just got it a little bit wrong just to make it look convincing.
Just slightly.
Absolutely,
just
absolutely. Well, we're going to have to say goodbye, Jem. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Yes,
nice to see you. I'm looking forward to when we can be in a field or, an event when it's appropriate to do so.